Hello, I'm Leona Dooley, and this is Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme in the kitchen. And it's exactly 1 week before Christmas, and I'm so excited. And I'm in the process of trying to clean out some of the things out of my refrigerator and freezer before I do that last Christmas shopping. So what we are going to do tonight is that we're going to think back to Thanksgiving. And if you remember, we had turkey, we had dressing, there were green beans, and we are going to put together a casserole. Now I have to tell you, all the green beans are gone. And so in place of the green beans, I'm going to add peas. But we're going to put this casserole together. It's going to be hubby and I just big enough for us. And of course you can adjust it to make it large enough for your family. And especially for those of you who may have turkey for Thanksgiving, you may want to actually add this for the day after the holiday. So this is a day after the holiday turkey casserole. And it is so easy to put together, and it bakes up beautifully. You're going to use your gravy. Everything is just going to be slice, slice, slice. Put it in, and you're good to go. So, without a doubt, I'm going to turn you down, and we're going to be ready to put that casserole together. I have here on my table one Pyrex dish, and this is an 8x8 2-quart dish. And this dish, I'm first going to spray with some canola oil. So I'm going to give it a little spray, and that's just to keep it from sticking. That's about all we need. And I'll set that off to the side. Now, I am going to, my hands are clean, and I have, if you remember, when I fixed my dressing, hope you're with me. Let me stop you one. Okay, now, if you remember, I did my dressing in the little dressing balls. But for this casserole, I don't want it quite that thick, and I could certainly roll it out, but I'm going to make a layer of dressing on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is to slice these in half, and then just kind of give them a little mash. Then I'm going to pick them up, and I'm going to lay them. Now, of course, I could have mashed them in the casserole. Just kind of push it down in the casserole. Let's make sure you can see. I'm just kind of making a layer of dressing around the bottom. And I need just a little more. Now, I could have been a little chintzy with it, but I do have just a little more than I had thawed. I have a little more left, which is kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to put that in place. See if that's enough. And since I have this little piece, I'm just going to kind of give him a spot, and wherever I see a few little thin spots, I'm going to break it up and let it fill in. So this is making the crust of our casserole. So there we go. We got our casserole bottom in. Check. And I'm going to take my knife, make sure I get all of this goodness. Don't want to lose any of it because that's flavor. Now I'm going to go back in, and I want a mixture of white meat and dark meat. And if you remember with our cider house turkey that we had some light and dark meat, of course, having a whole turkey. And when my honey sliced the turkey, I had him to leave a little bit of both so that I could use it later. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just breaking this off the bone, and I'm keeping these bones. Yes, I get as much out of that meat as I can so that I can have it for soups or whatever it is that I may want to add a little turkey to. And what I'm doing at this point is just kind of giving it a little rough chop so that when I sprinkle this, it's going to be a mixture of both types of meat. And the reason I want the mixture is because white meat has that tendency, I don't care how much you brine it, it's just the nature of white meat. White meat is drier than the darker meat. And so I try to include some of both. So let's get this in. Spread it out in the casserole. And I have going in my microwave some broth that I saved. Because, you know, you get rid of nothing because you always want to use everything you have. Now, some of you who are farther out west, you are experiencing some really bitter colds. And those of you who are farther north are also experiencing those colds. And I was just talking to a friend last night who's in Buffalo. Not only was it cold, but the winds off the lake were blowing in moments of blizzard-like conditions. Now there's our meat. I've made the second layer, got the meat, and I'm just kind of pressing it down. Now, I thought this wasn't really a part of the Thanksgiving menu, but I love mushrooms. And these have been frozen. I'm going to break them up. Going to sprinkle a few of those in as well. Don't want those pieces of mushroom to be too large. Okay. Now, if your family doesn't like mushrooms, obviously, you don't have to add that, but we are fans of mushrooms. It's not much. We try purposely not to say we dislike anything because you never know. Life is tough. Life can change on you, and you have to eat whatever's put before you. So we try to eat whatever is served, and we try to teach the kids to eat whatever is served because people have spent their hard-earned money for that food, and we need to let them know that we appreciate it. Now, I have about a cup of frozen peas that I'm going to sprinkle in. And in fact, I'm going to add in just a few more. I'm going to give it a good cover. It's about a cup and a half of the peas. And of course, if you had a green bean casserole or you had just regular green beans, you could have certainly added those in as well. Now, this is what I'm going to do. Now, I have a container of cream of mushroom soup. And remember, this is one of those dishes that you can put together very quickly. Now, of course, I could have done the cream of mushroom by hand and prepared all of it. I don't have time to do that today, so that's why I'm using this. I also have my leftover broth that I'm stirring and making sure that it is ready. This is leftover from the turkey, and I'm just kind of making sure it's all mixed up because I had to thaw it. Okay, and I'm going to mix just a little bit of this in with the cream of mushroom soup, probably, let's say, about equal parts, because we want this to be pretty juicy. So let me get my whisk again. I'll rinse it off real good. And we are going to whisk our cream of mushroom and our turkey broth. Now, if you don't have any leftover turkey broth or gravy, then you could certainly either make the gravy from starch if you wanted to, or you could use a box or a jar, whichever the case may be, depends on what you have going on. Now I have this, I think I'm going to add just a little more liquid. Just a little. I don't like dry casseroles. I like for them to be meaty. Now, obviously, if you had macaroni and cheese left over, you could have put some macaroni and cheese in there. Whatever your leftovers were from that dinner, you could put that in. Now I'm going to take this. I'm going to move all of this first out of the way so you can see better. Let me wash all of that off. And wipe all this down. Keep things clean. All right. Now, we are going to take this and we are going to pour it over our casserole. Now, one more rinse. Get my hands clean. Okay, and I'm going to take a little knife or a spoon. Maybe I'll take a spoon. And I'm just going to make sure that it's covering everything. Now, guys, we could put this together the night before, cover it with some plastic wrapper foil, and just let it sit and let it stay. Now, I've got about 2 hours before dinner. So I'm going to cover this with foil, sit it in the refrigerator, and about 30 minutes before dinner, I'll put it into about a 350 oven and let it bake until it's hot and bubbly. Well, while the casserole is in the oven, we are going to put together some little treats. All you need is 1 bag of the little mini pretzels and 1 bag at least of Rolos. And, you know, at this time of the year, Rolos are everywhere. You can get bags of Rolos. And all you do is to lay those little pretzels out on a piece of parchment paper, on a cookie sheet, place a Rolo on top of each one, slide them in the 350 oven for about 3 to 4 minutes, bring them back out, take another pretzel and pop it down on each one, give it a little press, and voila, we've got treats. And they just need to cool off, and then you can keep them in a bag. So that's what I'm going to fix, some little Rolos. Okay, well, here's our Rolos. They've come out of the oven, and as you can see up in that corner that I've started to place the pretzels on top. Place your pretzel. Doesn't have to be a whole one, and then just give him a little press, and that's to hold it together. Push. You can see that chocolate just ooze right up. That took about 2 minutes in that warm oven with the casserole. Just give him a topper. And you'll do that for each pretzel. I have even done this with, dip the whole thing into some white chocolate so that you had white chocolate covered pretzels with the Rolo inside. Woohoo! Doesn't that sound good? There we go. On each one. I try to turn them, if I can, in the same direction. It doesn't always work out that way, but we try. And if you're like this particular bag and I'm at the end, then we're going to eventually get to some that they're going to be a little broken. That's okay. No one will ever notice. They'll be too busy eating them. The main thing is to have that little extra crunch to your candy. I'm going to go right there. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Got a few more. Oop, I dropped him. Okay, he's going to go on there. This one's going to go over there. Try to take your larger pieces if you can and just kind of sit them on top. It's okay. If you decide you don't want to give company the broken one, I guarantee the family will not care. They will eat them. And I believe we've got a few over here, so I'm going to take 2 pieces, put a piece there, and another piece over on this side. And actually, this one could almost stand another piece. I'll just push him right down there in that chocolate. And I have one right here that needs a little covering. So I'm going to put him in. And there we go. Ooh, they are done. And that's the last batch. So I'll show you what the initial batch looked like. Well, our casserole is out of the oven. It is hot and bubbly. Now on the plate, I have placed some salad tomatoes with some artichokes and olives and onions that have marinated. And I am going to use my spatula. You notice I put some cheese on top. Got to have a little cheese. And I'm going all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to turn this around because I want to be able to scoop this out. And you'll notice that this perfectly will serve 4 people. Now, I probably should wait about 10 minutes before I even attempt to get this out of the dish. But, you know, that's not me. So, I am going to scoop. I'm going all the way down to the bottom, and I am going to place this right here on the plate. That's the first scoop, first section. You see the peas, you see everything. That's the first one. There's one for Papa. And there's going to be one for Mimi. Scooping it out. You can see it's nice and juicy. You can see the gravy, the peas, everything is hot and ready to go. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Now, of course, this would tighten up just a little bit, but if I had waited. But I'm not going to do that because we like our food screaming hot. So, guys, I'm going to show you that plate. Look at that smoke coming off of it. It is going to be absolutely delicious. So, have a wonderful dinner. Enjoy your family and friends, and love on them nightly with great, quick, delicious meals. See you soon in the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme.